Hello, hello. Welcome to Whole Lotta Heart, where we talk about grief, healing, growing through the hard stuff, and learning to love ourselves through it all. I'm Kayla, your host, your hype girl, and your safe space. And whether you're deep in your feelings or just trying to keep it together, pull up a seat, child. This space was made for hearts like yours. Today, we have what I guess you could call a Whole Lotta Heart special, all right? We have a very special guest on the show. She is the very first guest on the show, and she is someone very, very close to me. We have my big sister Amanda joining us. And what you're going to hear today is a very real, raw, emotional conversation between two sisters who are sharing what we remember of the months leading up to losing our mom and the things we did differently during our grieving journey and really all the things in between. And I must say, I'm very appreciative of my sister joining because it took a lot of convincing, but I think that her perspective and her feelings and her thoughts are just as important as mine because she's learned some things along her journey that are different than mine. And the hope in this episode is just for us to talk about our feelings and to hopefully relate to you all, and maybe you can see yourself in some of our thoughts and our feelings. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. So let's hop right on into it. So, Amanda.
Yes.
I just want to start the conversation off by taking it back to the beginning. So, in episode 2, I talked about the beginning of the story, or the story from my perspective, and how I felt and how I saw things. So let's get your perspective. Talk a little bit about where the journey started for you, because it started for me at the flooring store. So talk about where you found out.
Well, it started for me much later, like in July, the day she had her stroke.
Oh, wait, let's go back because in my initial story, I did not share that part.
Okay.
I didn't share the stroke part, how we got to rushing her to the hospital.
Okay.
So maybe we should
Maybe I should say that.
Yeah, you should say that. Go ahead and say.
Okay. So for me, the beginning for me was when you called and said something's wrong with mommy and we needed to rush her to the hospital. And she had episodes before when I think her sugar was low. Mm-hmm. And I thought that this was kind of the same thing. Mm-hmm. When I got to the house and we called the paramedics and they came, of course, naturally as the big sister, when they say, does she have any medical conditions? You know, I'm like, yeah, she has diabetes. She has some vascular issues. And it was the look on your face.
Yeah, I remember that moment because you were answering the paramedics and Daddy and I knew. So he's sitting on one side, I'm standing over here on the other side, and we're looking at each other. And Daddy was like, Kayla, you gotta tell her. You gotta tell her. And I'm like, no, I don't gotta tell her. He's like, Kayla, you gotta tell her. Now, Mommy is on the couch and she's kind of in and out. And she's like, Kayla, no. Like at that moment, she knew what was going on. And she was like, Kayla, no, don't tell her. No, don't tell her. I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor. And I'm like, how can I not tell you? Because, how can I not tell you? Because now we're sitting here faced with now the consequence of it. So go on.
And the next thing that you said was, and she has breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't expecting to hear that. And as we got to the hospital and found out everything that was going on and realized that she had a stroke because the cancer spread. Mm-hmm. And not knowing what was going to happen, you know, those days were hard. I think I barely even slept. Mm-hmm. Didn't think about work. Didn't call them. Mm-hmm. None of that. That wasn't what was important at that time. So that's where it started for me. Mm-hmm. And in my grieving journey so far, what I've dealt with is a lot of guilt. Mm-hmm. Guilt for not seeing the signs.
Now looking hindsight though,
They were all there.
Yeah, I was going to say, what signs do you remember?
When she cut all her hair off. Because we always talked about cutting our hair because it just was annoying. We just don't like doing our hair, and her hair was thin, and that was just a conversation that we've had for years.
Right.
So that day when we brought your lunch to you, she didn't have to take her scarf off. I think that was hiding her way, letting me know. But without letting me know, but she played it off so good. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was the sleeping a lot of days because that was something that she didn't really do anymore. And I just chalked it up to her getting older. I knew that she did have vascular problems, so maybe it was difficult for her to do things because maybe she was in pain in her legs or whatever. So, yeah, that's when it started for me. So it was a lot of guilt. It was a lot of anger and frustration because she didn't tell me. So, yeah.
Yeah. And on my side of it, because I was here with her, I will say I did try to encourage her to tell you because I felt like if I knew, then you should know. But I also felt that it wasn't my thing to share, and I felt so bad about it. And I remember because Daddy knew that I would call him crying because I'm like, I feel like I was holding a secret, which I was, but I felt like that was something she needed to share. And I asked her a lot of times, like, why don't you want to tell her? And she just didn't want you to stop your life. It's basically what she said. She's like, Xavier's got football. Xavier's got this going on. She's working, and I don't want her to stop her life
but she
thinking about me.
It.
I know. She did. She absolutely did. And
I would have gave it anything to spend those days with her, to go to the doctor with her. I would have done all of that, and I wouldn't have complained, and I would have wanted that. Because the next thing that I had was a mother who couldn't communicate with me, so I couldn't ask any questions. I didn't have a way to reconcile her emotions and going through what she's feeling. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. So, yeah. A lot of frustration.
And it is a valid frustration because it's like, how do you not tell me type of thing?
Right.
And I just before we continue on, I do say I remember her telling me how scared she was when she first found out. So I think maybe in her mind she was trying to protect us from not worrying and not having to go through it. But I think all parents do this when they don't tell their kids, is that they're trying to protect them without realizing that if things take a turn for the worst, that the kids are the ones that are here left to figure it out. So they,
And them being selfless.
Yeah.
And going through it by themselves is almost still like being very selfish.
Yeah. In a way.
Yeah. And then, when we finally found her paperwork, and we saw that she had knew for months that the chemo stopped working. That bothered me for a long time. Like, well, okay, so maybe you didn't tell me when you found out because you were hoping on, okay, let's shrink it down, let's get it removed, and then we'll take it from there. But when you knew, that was one thing that really got me. But I think you did an episode on signs, and this probably had to be maybe about a year after. She came to me in a dream. We watch Housewives. And the dream was we were sitting on the couch watching Housewives. I got up and used the restroom. When I came back, it just happened to, how she lays there with her feet on a coffee table. And I just put my head in her lap while we were watching. I think you were at work in my dream. And I said, Mommy, why you didn't just tell us? And she looked at me in my eyes and said, well, how do you tell your children that you're going to die? And as a mother, if I found that out, that would be the hardest thing I would ever have to tell my son.
Yeah.
And it's just two of us.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he's your only child.
And he's my only child. How would I have to tell him that?
Yeah. I can only imagine that it would be hard. I have no kids, but I can imagine it would be hard because now your kids have to watch it happen. They have to watch it and anticipate that any day it can happen.
But I would have rather that than how it happened, because the way it happened was, for me, it was almost like a parent being in a car accident.
It was sudden.
It was so sudden to me. And then in 5 weeks,
yeah,
she was gone.
Yeah. But then for me too, it was very sudden, even though I didn't know. Yeah, because I didn't know it had progressed as much as it did. So then when they're telling us, it spread to the brain and it spread into other parts of the body, it was like, hold up, she just told me that she was doing good, and they're starting this new, because she started taking the pill chemos instead of the intravenous one. I was like, you just told me everything was going good, and then now I get the news that it's spreading. So then that was a whole other, had to process that too, because I'm thinking we're making progress. Like, she's going to beat this. And then she told me that if they could have gotten it small enough that she could have just had the breast removed. So I'm banking on that. I'm hoping on that.
You don't even need them no more.
She don't need them. She didn't need them. So just take them off. Take them both off. That was what I said. So it was like a shock for me, because it's like, everything you've been telling me, I'm trusting her. And she didn't want me to go to any of the doctor's appointments, which in hindsight makes sense, because they're telling her the actual truth.
And she's telling us
what
she wants us to know.
What she wants us to know. Yeah. So, and I was like, I'll take off from work. I'll go with you. And she's like, no, just drop me off, or I'll just take myself. And I'm like, okay. I mean, all right. And at one point, it did look like things were working, because her breast, when I found it, was very hard. It was like a rock. And when she started the chemo, it got squishy and soft, and it did shrink a little bit. So I'm like, oh, okay. We're in the clear. We're making progress here. But after, because that was in October when she started it, the chemo, it took maybe to like December for it to start to soften. But after like maybe February, no more progress after that. And then I think she started the pill chemotherapy option in May. So I think at that point they were just trying to keep her comfortable, maybe. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and in hindsight, it was just like, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But when Auntie saw Mommy, maybe that was because that was the first time she saw her in a while.
Yeah.
She knew right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knew right away.
And I feel like I ignored some of the signs too. Like, one of them being, like, her memory was a little bit foggy. Like, Mommy, she knew everybody's business. Mm-hmm. Like, she can manage everybody's life. But then she was forgetting things. Like, oh, I did that. I forgot that I did that. Or, oh, I got to run to the Dollar Tree. You already went to the Dollar Tree. Oh, I forgot where I put like, she just was not remembering just little things. And she wasn't wanting to do the little things that she used to do, like going to the Dollar Tree and picking out her little trinkets and cooking dinner. Well, she had gotten to a point where she wasn't cooking that much anyway.
Yeah, that was way before that.
But she wasn't, like, she could just not eat. She'd be okay. Like, you make what you want, but I don't want anything. She didn't even want her sweets. And, she'll eat sweets before she eats dinner. So when she's turning down cakes and cookies and orange slices, I'm like, child, why you don't want these things? Like, not understanding that her taste buds are changing. She's tired and drained. And yeah, it was a little, now looking back, it's like, oh, all the signs were lining up, but I just didn't know. Like, I mean, this is my first time going through a parent having cancer.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to look for.
Right.
I don't know how chemo affects the body. And then this is sometimes what makes me sad, is that I couldn't even call you and say, Mommy didn't eat no dinner today, or I'm nervous, Mommy's been sleeping all day. It was sort of, I had to internalize it a little bit. That was a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
let's talk about when we took her to the hospital. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We took her to the hospital, and she was there for about 3 weeks.
She went July 5th, and we brought her home on the 24th.
I think it was the 24th. Yeah, it was right after.
It was the 24th.
Yeah, it was right after Auntie Bez's birthday.
Yeah.
I remember that. And in that time, I'm very grateful for that time. What do you think?
I'm very grateful for that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though she didn't allow me to be there for her while she was going through treatment,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to pamper her and nurture her and take care of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keep her clean, put lotion on her, those little things, combing her hair, those little things meant everything to
me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she was appreciative of them.
Yeah. Absolutely, she was. I'm grateful for the time too that she was in the hospital because the cancer had spread to her brain. She couldn't talk. She wasn't able to she was able to recognize things, but she couldn't say what they were, or it took her a minute to process things. So they did a few rounds, maybe was it a week of
10 days.
Of 10 days of radiation therapy. And that brought her back for a little while. Yeah, for a little while. And I'm grateful for that because we were able to have last conversations with her. She was still able to make her jokes and stuff like that. And even though it was harder for her to communicate, we still knew what she was saying and what she was trying to say.
Because what she suffered from after the stroke, before the radiation, they call it aphasia. It's where you, in her mind, she knew exactly what she wanted to think, but she couldn't process it and communicate it to us.
Right. And she was able to write a little bit when she wanted something, but she couldn't verbally say exactly what she wanted. But it was just nice to have
a little bit of
her back. Because if you knew our mom, she was talkative. She
had the gift of gab.
Yeah, she could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and never not have anything to say. So for her to not be able to say anything, it was frustrating for her and a little bit for us because that's just not who she was. And I could sense that she was frustrated. She's trying to say what she wants and she's trying to say what she feels, but she can't. So it was a little bit different of a time. But we had her home for maybe a week. I think it was a week. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks before we had to take her back, rush her back to the hospital.
She wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
She wouldn't take her anti-seizure medication, which is that was the big deal. She wasn't taking any of her medication. So when we got her to the hospital, they basically told us the reason why she's not taking them is because she's having some rawness in her throat and she can't swallow them. That's why she's giving you a hard time about taking them because it's uncomfortable. And
yeah, and these pills too, I have to say, they weren't small
pills.
They were huge. And she took them for as long as she could. But even just drinking water was hard. She just didn't. It was uncomfortable for her.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
And we got her. We took her back to the hospital, and I don't think we saw a doctor for a day or two, right? They got her situated and
on a Thursday, and we saw the doctor Saturday.
Yeah. And when he came in, and he started talking to us about
time,
and he's basically telling us that she is transitioning, is the word that he used.
Yes. Which was so sensitive, and I'm glad that he used those words. His bedside manner was impeccable.
Yeah, it was amazing. But can you talk a little bit about what he said, how you were feeling, what the vibe was like, because I know as soon as he said, your mom is transitioning, I blacked out. I didn't hear anything. I don't know what happened after that.
So basically saying, he said, and what I mean by that is they were finding protein in her urine, things that are showing that her kidneys that were starting to shut down. And basically at that point, he told us that what we're going to give your mom is comfort care. We're going to make sure that she transitions peacefully and not in any pain. And I asked them, well, how long do we have? And you said you didn't want to know. Mm-hmm. And then I remember saying, Kayla, we got to know.
Well, I walked out.
And I came and got you and I said, we got to know. And then they told us, what was it, 2 or 3 days?
Yeah.
And my mom passed away on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that day itself was, we were supposed to take her home because the night before they said, listen, if she takes these pills, we'll let her go home. And she said, I want to go home. I want to go home. And when we were getting ready to leave the hospital, she's like, but I want to go home. And we said, well, mommy, I'm going to give you some more of this shaved ice, Italian ice. She ate it. She ate that real good. She took her pill. She said, if I took my pill, can I go home? And looking back on it, I don't think that she meant here. And even if she did, I also think that there were so many reasons why we couldn't bring her home. And so the next day, we're really kind of waiting for the hospital to call us. When they didn't call us by a certain time, she said, well, we really need to get up here. And I think I don't know, maybe when you lose that connection with your parent, you feel it, whether you're there or not. Because I dragged my feet.
That day?
That day.
Oh my gosh.
That day was so heavy getting to that hospital. And when we got to the hospital floor and that nurse stopped us, I didn't even hear her what she said. I saw when you was on your knees on the floor. And I had never seen you lose control like that before.
Yeah. Well, let's just backtrack to that day, because how you said it was heavy for you. So my sister and I had a system where we were like working half days and things like that to take care of our mom. So I was still working half days from home. And I remember like I had finished everything I needed to finish pretty early for work that day. And I could have come to get you so we can go earlier. But I dragged my feet too. I was like, well, no, I mean, I'll take a shower and eat and I'll take my time and I'll go pick Amanda up. Like, I wasn't in a rush for some reason, which wasn't like me either, because it's like as soon as work was over, I was at the hospital like every day. So I don't know where that came from. But I remember when we got to the hospital, we stopped at Tim Hortons. And we were like, oh, let's grab her a little sweet treat. Because I mentioned my mom likes, she likes sweets and she loved like ice caps. So we were like, let's get her a little ice cap because we're going to bring her home today. Like, this is a good day. And the hospital called us while we were in that Tim Hortons line.
They did.
And I didn't hear it. I don't know, maybe my phone was just on silent, but I didn't hear it. We were ordering Tim Hortons, just talking to each other.
About that.
And we get up to the floor. And the nurse was like, oh, did you got the phone call? And I was like, no, I didn't. She said, oh, so you don't know. And when she said that, I immediately knew what she was saying. And she's like, so mom went and she went in her sleep. She wasn't in any pain.
About 15 minutes before y'all got there.
Before we got there.
Our mom was still warm, which was also something that we needed, and to not have had her pass the night before and come to her cold.
Oh, yeah.
She was still warm. They gave us coffee, donuts, bagels.
They're very sweet.
They let us stay as long as we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must say, I think maybe I had an inkling that it was going to happen. Because the day before, that was a Monday, I had got there. And I was waiting for you to get up there because you didn't get off work until a little bit after I did. So I was there with her until you got there. And we were playing our worship music and she was, bopping around. And after I turned it off, she was just kind of sitting there, just looking at me. She just looked so tired. Just so tired. And I remember, I went over to her and I grabbed her face like this. And I was just looking in her eyes and it just weren't happy like they normally were. And she looked drained and over it. And I was just like, Mom, I don't know what made me ask her this. I was like, are you ready to go? Do you want to go? But she nodded her head. Yep. And I just told her, I said, well, you can go. Go. Because I don't want you in any more pain. I said, we'll be okay.
And I think when she seen me and dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. I'm sorry. Before Monday, she had been asking for my nephew Xavier, and she just kept saying, where's dude? Where's dude? And then she asked for daddy. She said, Rick. She hadn't asked for him yet. She hadn't asked for him in a while. And they came up there too that day before she and I had that conversation.
And let me just say, my son does not like hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
He does not like hospitals because, unfortunately, 3 and 4 years before, because our grandmothers passed away 7 months apart, we lived with one of my grandmothers. And the last time he saw her was in the hospital. And she was dying. And the same thing with my grandmother. So he knew that if we said, you really need to come up here and see BB, I think that he knew. And he was scared. And at the time, my son was only 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he lost all three. He lost 3 of his great-grandmother. He lost 3 of his great-grandmothers within a 9-month time frame. And then he turned right around and lost his grandmother. And she is the only grandmother that he knows.
And they're pretty tight. They were
extremely tight.
They were so close. That was her baby. That was her baby. That was his BB.
That was his BB, and he was her dude.
Yeah. And when all this time, she hadn't asked for him. Like she knew where he was. He had football and stuff, but she hadn't asked for him or my dad. And she just kept saying, where's dude? Where's dude? Then Rick? Where's Rick? So they came up that day. And, my dad also, our parents were divorced, but they maintained a friendship. My dad was the first one she told, actually, when she found out she had cancer.
So your dad was a firefighter. He was practical. He was reasonable. He did it as where we would have been like, oh my God, Mommy. Yeah. He was like, okay, what can you do? He's more level-headed. He didn't get easily too excited. She was very overexcitable. And I think I have to say, I get some of my calmness from her. And Kayla gets that neurotic side from our mom because Kayla falls. She say, Amanda, look at it. Look at it. Oh, I'm so worried. And I was just, okay, Kayla, let me see. With me and that was the difference. And so I know when Kayla said that she told Daddy first, that made sense.
That made sense. But just to go back, I'm not neurotic. I think we both have, I think it's whoever's not having the situation. Like if something happened to me that I'm going crazy and you're the one like, okay, Kayla, breathe. We got this. And you can be the same way too, like, oh my God, oh. I'm like, Amanda, just breathe. It's okay. We'll talk about it. So we get the emotional part from our mom, but we can come back down to calm like our dad.
Right. I'll take that.
Compromise here.
I'll take that.
But yeah, she told our dad first, and afterwards, Daddy did tell me what she said. And he said that she said that she has breast cancer. She was going to the doctor to figure out what her treatment plan would be. But she told him that if anything happens to me, you're going to be here with my girls. Take care of my girls. And he was like, of course. And she was like, I know you will take care of our girls. And that was the conversation. Now, our dad, he's good at being level-headed, but he thinks about things internally. He doesn't really let you know when things bother him too much. But I know that was a conversation that really hit him. Because my mom had been, they've been in each other's lives since they were 16. So that not only had he had to maintain a sense of calm for us, but he was also dealing with the anticipation of everything for himself. It's okay. I know.
Okay.
Cry as long as you need to.
It's just, I'm getting older. My body's changing. I'm thinking differently. And there's a whole lot of times I just want to call our mom and have her give me some direction. We don't have a lot of women in our family that I'm close to that I can be vulnerable with.
Mm-hmm. On our mom's side of our family is very small. Very small. All that we have left now is
one aunt.
My mom's baby sister and her 2 kids, and then, her grandchildren. And that's it. That's all we got left for her side of the family. And on Dad's side,
there's quite a bit of us over there,
but everyone's kind of spread out. Everybody's doing their thing. We're not as close as we could be.
And in going through this, unfortunately, I have to say that the hardest thing for me in my grieving journey has been being vulnerable. Because I am the big sister. Mm-hmm. I am the person that my friends called and talked to. I probably lost some friends because I isolate myself. That's how I'm grieving. I'm trying to find a new outlet to grieving. So if you feel like that, friends, find some people that you trust, that you commit to. Because grieving alone, it's hard to get out of that dark hole when you're in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like sometimes, because obviously we were going through it together, do you feel like when you were having moments you didn't want to call and tell me because you didn't want to upset me?
A lot of times. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of times I cried in that house out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like sat in the middle of my bed, crisscross applesauce, and cry out loud. Mm-hmm. I encourage people to do that.
Yes.
I also just feel like because we have gone through this together, that you're the only person that understands how I feel about losing her. Mm-hmm. Even when you talk to friends who may have lost a parent, she wasn't mommy. So they don't understand.
Absolutely.
And it's not a day, it's not one day that goes by that, to be honest with you, the timeline of my life now is before mommy passed and since she's passed.
Yeah.
Because before that, the only thing I could contribute a major life experience to would be before I had my son and after I had my son. Those are the two. So yeah, it's way different. And I have to say, sometimes I feel like I'm not coping well. I'm still grieving, and I feel like I'm still grieving sometimes like it just happened. It doesn't seem like 4 years has passed.
No.
Everything replays when it gets to July. Yeah. I have to keep myself busy with doing things or trying to, hang out with Miss Janice's family and things like that because they embrace me and it keeps my mind off of it.
Miss Janice
is our stepmom.
Stepmom, yeah.
And I feel like I have to do that because if I don't, I would be in the house closed up and dealing with things alone as opposed to living life like she would want us to and just celebrate her life as opposed to grieving her loss.
Oh, that's a little call out to last week's episode. That's exactly what I talked about was celebrating the loss and not celebrating the loss, but her life and the love you shared and not thinking about it as this is when she left us. Obviously, that is what happened, right. But we don't have to look at it that way. But just going back to, you said, when July rolls around, how does that feel for you every time it comes around?
It's heavy. Mm-hmm. Every day is heavy. And I don't want to call you with it because I understand that even though it was heavy for me, mm-hmm. when July comes around for you, that is usually your favorite time of the year because your birthday's in July.
Yeah.
And I just remember how you spent that birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, and at that time we didn't know exactly what was happening. So I remember like any phone call I got, I was on edge a little bit that day because I was like, I didn't know what was going on. I guess in the back of my mind, I knew there was a possibility that things could have ended. So I'm like, are they going to call me on my birthday and it's going to be the day that I lose her? And since you brought up my birthday, I have to give a shout out to Daddy because my dad was here at my house at 9 o'clock in the morning with balloons and cars because I love balloons. She'd go get balloons and have stuff here and, have a cake and stuff. And I mean, that's just what we did. And my dad stepped right in and he made sure that I was supported that day. And so did my friends. They made me go out to dinner that day. You made me go out to dinner that day.
To just go.
But
she would want you to go.
But you have the guilt of it because you see your mama laying in there in the hospital bed. You don't know what's happening. She doesn't really know who you are. And I'm just going to go have dinner for my birthday. That didn't feel right. That didn't feel good. It didn't feel right to do it. I'm happy that my friends took me out and did it because I had a great time. But I felt like I couldn't just be on my birthday. I couldn't just sit in it.
Speaking about birthdays and talking about, because our mom's anniversary of passing just passed last Sunday, the 10th of August. And so we just thinking about just her and selfless. And about how when it came to her kids, she did put us first. She put us before anybody else. And my last birthday when I turned 35, I asked my mom for it because I didn't know she was sick. I swear if I had known, I would have never asked her to do it. I asked my mom to make a red velvet cake. She hadn't made a red velvet cake in probably 20 years. Now, granted, she didn't let it cool because she was trying to have it done before I got over here after work. That was the best red velvet cake I ever had. When I say I'm not a sweet person. I'm the total opposite of her. My idea of a snack is some jumbo shrimp with some cocktail sauce or smothered in butter and garlic. That's my idea of a snack. I don't want no brownies, no cupcakes, no ice cream. Potatoes with butter. That's my kryptonite. And she made this cake, and I know she couldn't have felt like it. But that's the only thing that I asked her for. Fast forward to the next Valentine's Day after our mom passed. And my son said, Mom, I want to do something for you now. I don't know if Kayla shared this with you guys. When you want something made, to eat, I'm the girl to call.
Yeah, I did tell them that. I said, you love to cook for the family.
That is my love language. And I taught my son how to cook, and my baby made me some curry rice with a nice steak with onions and some salad. And he had his friend make me a small mini red velvet cake.
My nephew, he can be thoughtful when he wants to be. He's a very sweet boy. Well, a very sweet man now. And that's just to talk about how fast time goes. I think he had just turned either 15 or 16. I think it was 16.
He had just turned 16.
Yeah.
He had just turned 16.
When everything started with my mom. And he just turned 20. Yeah. He turned 16 in June. Everything happened in July and August. He just turned 20. This man just turned 20.
And he's done high school, amazingly finished, great. They went to the championship first year, won the championship the next year. He went right to college, and he decided that he didn't want to finish college right now. And as a parent, this is one of those things where I want to call my mom. I want to give her a call and say, hey, what do I say to him? Yeah, I have, y'all, and I've been venting to y'all every chance I get because Mama Bear is so confused. But I also understand I took 3 months off from work when my mom passed because I needed to grieve. I wasn't sleeping. Mm-hmm. And to go to work and to have to deal with the people at work when you haven't slept in 3 days. Yeah, and anybody know I love sleep. I love naps, and I wasn't even napping. I was just up.
No, this girl don't nap. A nap is like maybe 45 minutes, an hour. This girl will go to sleep at 1 o'clock, and her nap ends at 4 or 5. But back to the story. Go ahead.
Well, I wasn't even doing that. I wasn't catnapping or anything, and I just realized that my son, as he's still a child, he just kept going. And I told my dad the other day, I said, Daddy, you know what? I'm just wondering if maybe he needs a break. Maybe he just needs a break to just only have to worry about what he wants to do for himself, Yeah.
Yeah. My nephew's name is Xavier. We can refer to him as that. So, or we could call him Dude. Let's call him Dude. That's what I call him.
Yeah.
So Dude was very selfless during this time, I will say. So I was living in the house with my mom. It was just me and her. And when all this happened, my nephew was like, I don't know if he had a conversation with you or whose idea this was.
Well, the first night I told him just stay here with Titi so she don't have to be here by herself. Mm-hmm. And then he just never left. Yeah, and it was kind of just like I think that even more so than that, if he wanted to be here, I wanted him to be here with you. Mm-hmm. So it was never even a second thought. It was just like, Mom, can I bring my clothes over? And then next thing you knew, he was moved in. And
so I wonder, okay, you told him to stay. I guess this is a question for him. Maybe he needs to come on the show. Mm-hmm. But when you brought him, or when you told him to stay here with me for the night, I wonder in his mind, did he see like Titi's not okay? Or what was his thought process behind? Because my nephew stayed with me. He was 16. He stayed here until he
graduated from high school
and went to college. So he was here with me for quite some time.
And it worked.
It worked.
His school is down the street, literally down the street. His football, the school where he played football at, is down the other street straight. If you go straight down our street, it's right down there. So everything just worked out as where I live on the complete opposite side of town. Mm-hmm. And it just worked. Yeah. Also, as a parent, I never had a break. I never had a break, and I enjoyed it. I didn't feel guilty because I didn't put him out. And I saw him almost every day, so it wasn't.
You heard that one? I think he was at your house for like a couple days, and you was like, "I can't wait for him to get back on. Been here by myself." I think I used to that.
Yeah, because next thing I know, I'm sleeping and I'm hearing stuff because he downstairs, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not used to this," but yeah. It's just we were all just trying to just now find our places. I've been more sociable, so I'm trying to come out of the hole that I've dug myself into. Mm-hmm. One of the hardest things I've had to do ever. Ever, when I say ever, I mean ever.
Well, I don't want you to say that you dug yourself into the hole. I mean, you're grieving, and your feelings are like you have the right to feel how you feel and to handle it the way you handle. So don't make it seem like you dug yourself in the hole.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel, and I feel that way because in order to process your grief, in order to get through it, even while you're still grieving, but to get through the toughest times. And maybe just because I just didn't know how to utilize the resources that were available to me, such as my friends and people, because I just felt like people didn't understand. One of the things that I think that people say, and I didn't realize how insensitive it was until I was in that situation, because I've said this to people, is when you say to somebody, I just want to talk to her. To talk to her doesn't mean to sit like I'm sitting now and just talk, or how when you're normally doing your podcast alone, because we're having a conversation, but when you're doing your podcast alone and you're talking, but there's nobody there, what you're looking for, what I'm looking for when I say that I want to talk is it's a conversation that I feel like I need to have, something that's missing. And that's what I mean. So when you say, oh, well, you can still just talk to her, she'll hear you. When people say, I just want to talk to my mom, it's some advice that they need. It's something that they need to hear their mom or their grandmother or their aunt or their uncle say that's going to put them where they feel they need to be. It's not talking to them.
It's not the act of talking, it's the conversation.
It's the conversation. And so it was hard because that's what everybody would say is like, oh, you can talk to her, she'll hear you. But I mean, I need to have a conversation. So I just feel like, and being vulnerable is hard. It's hard when you always have to be the one to be strong. You know, even like you said, when our parents were divorced, that was a hard time for us.
Yeah.
But I couldn't let it bother me as much because you were here. So I know you remember times, especially after I had Xavier, and it would be times where mommy may not have been in a good mood because, you know, her and dad may have not seen eye to eye that day about whatever they were talking about. And we just have to get up out of here. And we go to the park, take you wherever, whatever.
To the mall.
And Old Navy.
Get on the train.
Yeah, get on the train. And I felt like I always had to just be strong and to be vulnerable, to feel weak, and this is the hardest part. The hardest part for me is going in public. I'm probably the nicest person that people encounter in public because I'm like, hey, hon, thanks, babe. How you doing today? I'm like that with every store I go to. But I'm like that now because I feel like if I don't, people can look at me and they can see my hurt in my face. So if I'm not putting on a smile and trying to just make the best of it, I feel like people can feel my hurt. They can see it in my face.
You feel like you're just kind of a walking billboard of grief. Hello. This is the point in the recording of this conversation where we begin to get a little bit emotional, and we decided to take a quick break just to calm ourselves down and to comfort each other. But now, as we prepare for the second part of this conversation, I just want to say that I hope that you are enjoying this episode and you're really getting to see the connection between me and my sister. So stay tuned for the second half of the show. So now what I want to talk about, I want to kind of shift gears and just talk about the differences in our grief journey, because we've approached it differently, much differently. So you want to talk a little bit about what you did or what your thought process was entering into grief after losing mommy?
Well, like I said, I tried working for about a month after her passing. And I just couldn't focus. I'm sorry, but my mom called me every morning when I got off from work. She was the first person I called in the car. That everyday routine of not having her, it really messed with my psyche.
Yeah.
And I couldn't focus. And so I told my job, you guys keep badgering me. Nobody wants to work with me to try to give me some time off. So I quit. Now, I'm still at my same job, and I guess I was able to keep my seniority. But, yeah, that's what I did. And that's where my isolation began.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in that time when you weren't working, how long was it? You said
3 months.
3 months. Do you feel like you were actually processing what you were feeling, or do you feel like you were just kind of ignoring everything? What did you do in that time?
I was sitting in my feelings. And when I say I cried every day, most of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. That's what
you did in that. So
and then I took dude to football practice, and then I think he ended up hurting his leg, so we had physical therapy. So I had other things to take my mind off of not being at work, but yeah, I didn't work. I couldn't.
Mm-hmm. Now, the biggest difference here, well, the first difference I'll say, is that she took off 3 months from work, and I dove headfirst into work. I went back to work literally the day after the service, like the service and the repast. I went to work the next day. I thought you went
back to work that Monday.
No, I went to work the next day. Okay. After we finished doing what we had to do with like the paperwork and the insurance, I went. Okay, maybe 2 days later. I apologize because we went and did the paperwork, and then I went the next day. But I went right back to work. And then after that, maybe like a month or so, I started a new job. So I was in my new job requiring me to travel. So I was just keeping busy, doing things with my friends, and not being in my feelings. I was just trying to mask them, I guess, or to use other things to keep me busy. That didn't end well for me at first. How do you feel being in your feelings? I know you said you feel like you've been in a hole.
When you isolate yourself and you push people away, in a sense, yeah, it can feel like that.
So I know you stopped working, but do you feel like you pushed everybody away?
Most of my friends. Not you guys. You guys were the only thing that kept me sane. Having something to do, going to all of dude's sports things, that's something that kept me doing something. I only have one friend, really, at the time. I was in the process of building other friendships, but I only had one friend, and all of the things that she went through with her anxiety and with her kid and my daddy and all the other stuff, I felt like, now how, when she has all of these problems, can I unload this on her?
Yeah.
I know now that I could have.
But in the moment, it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like that. Again, going back to being the strong person, to being the one that, it's going to be okay. But right now, I'm not okay. And I'm not okay with not being okay. And I think that that's where I was.
Do you, at the time, you don't think your friend would have been like, oh, Amanda is calling me because she's got stuff going on right now? Do you not feel like they would have been like, okay,
absolutely? I feel like she would have been just like that. It wasn't about her.
And
it wasn't about her not being a good friend to me, which is why I would never say, oh, nobody was there for me. I can't never say that, because I know that if I had reached out, she could have been. I can accept the fact that it was me. It was me.
I feel like I didn't use my friends as much as I could have, because I didn't want to be the damper. Like, we're getting together to hang out and have a movie night, and you're watching a movie that something reminds you of mommy, and then now you're the one crying and bringing the mood down. I didn't want to be like that. Or I didn't want to feel like all my friends have so much good things happening to them right now, so many good things, and then I'm the one here. My mom just passed, and I'm sad about it, and I'm I'm not happy.
I think the difference with your friends and my friend is that I met her later in life. Your friends are friends that you've had for 10, 15 plus years. So the difference is that mommy has played such an intricate part in all of their lives that it would not have affected them the same way that you thought that it would. But again, that's a you thing.
That's a me thing.
Yeah, that's a me thing. So that's a you thing. So it was because you also are the one that your friends call when they need somebody, because not only do you listen to them, but just by I'll say I was a little bit more rebellious, so I have a little bit more street smart. So when my friends come to talk, they may talk to me about more worldly things, but you give such good spiritual counseling. Like, they know that if they come to you, you're not going to just tell them what they want to hear. You're going to keep it real with them. You're going to probably ask mommy about it. So they, that's how it was. So when you feel like now you found yourself not using your friends, and it's for the same reason. So yeah, you feel like it's a damper, but being a damper when you're usually the person that's so bubbly and giddy, that's also the same thing. It's being a burden to, or being vulnerable to your friends when you usually are the one to take on the burdens. It's hard to lay yours down.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, to be vulnerable too. I feel like I am a little bit more vulnerable than you are. But I don't know. It was something about being vulnerable about this. I don't know why. It just felt very personal and very intimate. And relationship stuff, my friends have had relationships. Like, they understand that. And I think you said earlier, nobody knows how it feels, how this feels. So I just don't want to be the one to bring it down. And then now they're thinking about it, and it's just not a good, you feel like you're a burden to them. You feel like you're a burden to them, when in reality you are not. And they, my friends call and check on me. They text me and they're thinking about me, but I'm just like, I can't call them, they could be having the best day of their lives, and now I'm calling them with this.
And what we have to remember is, what about that time when they called us because they had marital problems and going crazy, and you were having the best day of your life, and then you start what you're doing to accommodate them because that's your friend.
And I know that's what.
But
friends,
it's hard.
It's hard, and that's what your friends
to be on the opposite side of that table. It's hard.
And now I understand when like I would tell my friends or tell other people, you have a village, you have resources, you just got to ask for them. Until I had to ask for them. And I'm like, oh, now I see why it's not as easy to do that. Yeah. So I guess that's one similarity that we had.
Yeah.
That's probably the only similarity we had.
I mean, but I'll tell you what, I don't think that me and you we've always been close, even with our age difference. We've always been close, but like.
So me and Amanda are 9 years apart. And she's the big sister.
I'm the big sister. But we're the closest we've ever been. We are the closest that we ever been.
And I think this is what
we're spending more time than we've ever spent together since we were kids.
Yeah. And I think that this is what she wanted for us, because I do remember she would always tell us to call each other and whatever, but it became much more of a thing towards the end. Like, you never call your sister. I'm like, I have texted my sister this week. She is okay. We are living lives.
Didn't you just talk to her? Didn't you just tell me everything that she was doing when you talked to her? So I got to call her too for her to tell me the same thing?
She would. Like, she would talk to you, and then 20 minutes later, you should call and check on your sister. Well, why? I understand now. But at that time, it was just, that's just
preparing us.
Yeah, she was preparing us for that. I don't know. I think she just didn't want us to have a relationship like her and her sister. So she just needed to know that we wouldn't. And my mom and her sister didn't have the best relationship.
Excuse me.
So my sister and I saw that growing up, and we made like a pact when we were younger
Even with our two cousins.
Even with our two cousins, that we were never going to have relationships like that. We can argue, we can fight, we can disagree, but we are never going to have relationships as toxic as what we have seen. So I think that's just what our mom was trying to avoid. But yeah, we are closer than we have ever been. I don't think I hung out with you this much ever.
And I enjoy because here's the thing. I had Xavier when you were 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom now. I'm doing my own thing. You're doing your own thing. Yes, we come together when I come over a couple times a week or Granny's house or whatever. But I don't think that we ever like, come on, I'll get off from work. Let's go to the movies. As adults, we've never hung out because we are 9 years apart. You're 21 and I'm 30. Like we don't even have, we're not even doing the same things.
Yeah.
But,
and
now we're both in our 30s. For a couple more months. And yeah, this is like I said, you've always been my sister. We've always been close, but in this time, we've become friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've become more friends, and I'm happy about that.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I feel like I got to know you. Like, obviously I knew you.
I'm simple. I'm a simple creature.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh. I feel like, I mean, obviously I knew who you were. Like, I knew what you liked, but you did, like you said, you're 9 years apart. You have a whole separate set of priorities. And when I was growing up, all my teenage years, you were a mom and you were working. Like, we didn't, yes, we spent time together and we've had conversations and all the things, but we just didn't spend a lot of time. So if anything,
we didn't talk about our everyday thing. Like, girl, let me tell you about work, or child. Yeah. Like, we just didn't have those kind of conversations. It just didn't. Oh, you went to work today? Yeah. What time you got off? 8. What you about to do? Eat. I don't know, about to eat, probably do some homework or something, go to bed.
But because we were, I think the age difference had a big thing to do with it. Because what were we going to talk about? Like, what you doing, I'm not doing.
But like I told you before, I honestly think that if we were closer in age, we wouldn't even be here. I think that we would love each other and we would be sisters, but I don't know if we would be friends.
No.
Because we're just two opposites.
Yeah, like on opposite ends of the spectrum in some cases.
Completely.
So, yeah, we would not have been friends, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I think we would have argued a lot if we were closer in age.
I think that we would have argued a lot because, especially by me being rebellious, because I think you would have been like, I don't know why you complaining. You just keep making them do that to you, because why don't you just listen sometime? Because you were so different. You're just like, look, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm like, all right, it's not that bad. Well, I'm just gonna do my homework. Why don't you just do your homework? Why don't you just do your homework? Then you won't even have to get yelled at. Like, I just think
like me now.
Yeah, so I just think that if we were closer in age, like, I would be like, girl, I can't stand you. Leave me alone. But
I can't stand you because now I got to hear all this mess because you.
See, and guess what? You didn't get that. You got that. And then you got the, I don't know, what we going to do with your sister? Oh, good job, Kayla. Yeah. So for you, it was totally different.
Yeah.
It was totally different. So.
Another difference was that I opted to go to therapy and you did not. Do you feel like that has affected your journey, or you feel like you might want to try it, or you don't know?
I do feel like not going to counseling has affected my journey. The problem is that I know I don't want to waste nobody's time. And I don't know if I'm ready to be that vulnerable with somebody. So for me to come in there and just let them touch the surface and not really go deep, it's not going to be worth it. Because what I know is I know that in my grief and in therapy, it goes more than just your grief. You're going to touch on all of those things that hurt because they're going to come up. And I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest about that.
Yeah. You definitely have to be ready for that yourself. You can't. And I think that's something I had to learn, because I remember when I started, after a couple of sessions, I was starting to feel better and I kind of process things. And I could see, like, oh, if she can just go, she would feel so much better. But just because I was ready to do that doesn't mean that you weren't. And it was a little frustrating for me because I'm like, I can see it, like, but that's just not where you were.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of moves at their own pace.
Yeah.
At least with my counselor, you all know Justin because I've talked about Justin, but he only went where I went. So if I wanted to just focus on grief, that was it. That was it. So maybe if you share that with them early on that this is what I'm here for. He only moved to other things when I initiated that conversation.
I think that I know in my heart of hearts that in order for me to just feel better about even just the place that I'm in right now, I have to go deeper than that. That honestly is like the stitches that opened the wound. Just somebody just ripped the stitches out, and I'm trying to let this wound heal. But we gotta, like, mommy's death is just the cleaning of the wound, but the wound still needs to heal. So I just know that it has to go deeper than that because I think that all of those things affect where I am right now, emotionally.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. So you're not against therapy, though?
No, not at all. Okay. I've been to counseling before, but it wasn't about anything this deep. You know?
Yeah. I know that's a big thing.
And a lot of things have happened in the time since I've been to counseling. It's probably been 15 years since I've gone to counseling. So a lot of things has happened. A lot of life has been lived. A lot of hurts have been hurt. Not just with mommy's passing, but, grieving relationships with other people that you lost that you thought you could hold on to. You grieve those, and you got to figure out how to process that. You got to figure out how to process moving on from those things.
I'm glad you said that, because we talked about this a couple weeks ago of how grieving doesn't always mean the death of someone. It could be grieving a relationship or friendship or something. It could be grieving, the job, your dream job that you had that you lost. It could be grieving your pets or whatever. It doesn't have to be a death of something big. Anything that mattered to you, if you lose it,
it's grief.
It's grief.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that society doesn't always see things like that. They see like, oh, you're not friends with this person anymore. Like, why is that affecting your job? Why is that affecting this? Well, I lost somebody. They're not passed on, but they are not in my life anymore. Right. Things that we used to do together, we're not doing anymore. So it will affect me. So I'm glad that you said that, because that is a thing.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
This is to all the HR professionals out there. Losing a person it throws you into a whirlwind, almost just like when you give birth to a new life, when you lose a life. I think that more time needs to be given to employees. 5 days for bereavement, when you can only use bereavement for your closest family members. I don't think it's enough time because you can barely even have a funeral in 5 days. There needs to be, maybe say, within a 6-month period of time, we will give you X amount of days that you can use when you have situations come up. There has to be another way besides people saying, well, you're not giving me no time off, but I really need some time off. Because yes, when it's a parent that you've taken care of, that you've been getting up in the middle of the night to take care of, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and they're not going to be there. That affects your sleep. It's going to affect my productivity. So help us out some.
I think, like, how you can go on maternity leave? How long is that?
Well,
3 months?
It's 3 months now. When I had Xavier, do you know how long it was?
How long was it?
If you had a cesarean section, it was 3 months, 12 weeks. It was 6 weeks. When I went back to work, Xavier was 7 weeks old.
Really?
Yes. And now some employers like M&T, if I had a baby while I worked at M&T, honey, child, they got 6 months. Yes, they got 6 months. So again, those changes in your life that you make other accommodations for, losing somebody changes your life just as much as bringing another life into the world. I think there should be like a
you have maternity leave, you got paternity leave. There should be like a grief leave. Like
it should be a grief leave, exactly.
Yeah, like maybe I don't know if it has to be as long as 12 weeks, although that's not.
But give us enough time to bury our family and at least clean out the closets.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically like if your parent dies on a Tuesday, you get to have that Tuesday off. But if your funeral isn't until that Wednesday, then you still have to sacrifice some time or use a paid day off or use a vacation day. Or if you don't have any at all, don't get paid at all. And I just don't think that's, I think that more thought needs to be getting put into that.
Yeah.
Think about it, you guys.
And I also think that it should be extended in terms of who it can be. Not tremendously. It doesn't have to be like you get 3 months off because your best friend or your uncle that you only met twice passed, but like
parents, siblings, child,
spouse. I would say friends. I would be devastated if something happened to one of my friends.
Yeah, but you don't get bereavement now.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They need to extend it. They need to extend it because, again, you don't know who my best friend was to me.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, she's my friend. She's not my family by blood, but she could have been the only person I got. Now I've lost her and I can't even grieve her.
You're going to tell me that I can't even get paid to go to the funeral?
Yeah. Yeah. So it needs to be looked at. Maybe we can write into someone in the state
Maybe
to get this going, to jumpstart it.
Into the Congress. Ooh,
into the Congress.
Nationwide. Why do you think? I think a lot of people can't regulate their traumas and stuff because they grieve. They grieve, and life just goes on. Like I was telling you on our break, like we were taking care of grandma, taking care of granny. Granny passed. When you finally get a break from taking care of those people because they've passed away, then we got in a pandemic. But life goes on. I still have to go to work. Xavier still need to eat. He need cleats. He need clothes every 5 months. Every 3 to 5 months he need new clothes. Oh, prom's coming up, dance coming up. Life still goes on. And you have to try to navigate all of that. And sometimes you need a little bit. You need to say, okay, I'm still within my 3-month time frame. I got 10 days I can use. Let me take a mental health day. Now, after those 90 days are up, I think 3 months, maybe for some people, it's not enough time. But I think that it could help.
Yeah. I think it would be nice to spread out the time because,
like, give you with just say 15 days. Within 90 days, you should be able to clear up estate things unless it's something that's extensive. Like those things should be able to be cleared up in that time. And it should give you enough time that if you needed to take 15 days straight, or if you needed to just piece them together for the funeral, for the family, and then for whenever you might need a day.
Yeah, that's where I was getting at because it comes in waves.
And then once that period is over, if you need a day off, then you go back to using your vacation or your PTO. But yeah. So
yeah. Any other differences that you have noticed just in your observation?
Not differences. I think that I'm just really glad that we're using each other. I'm glad that our dad, it doesn't matter what time of the day or night that we call, if we had a dream, if we got off the phone with each other and we just upset, or if we heard a song on the radio and just made us think about her, whatever, we can call him. Babe, I know, and we gonna get through this. I know, I miss her too. And it's not like, it's sincere. And
yeah, he's never made us feel like we were bothering him if we called him. And sometimes I called him in the beginning. I called him multiple times a day. And he never, and I felt bad too because I know he was grieving her too.
But I also think that Daddy understood because Daddy had a very special relationship with his mom.
Yes.
He was very close to Grandma. And by him being very close to her, when he lost her because he was taking care of her, me and him did it. And
he knows what it feels like.
He knows what it feels like to lose the person that was your everyday.
Yeah.
Your everyday.
From the morning to the night.
To the morning to the night. Your everyday. And I'm just going to tell y'all this story about our mom, because this is how much she loved us. Kayla went to open up a bank account. And she told my mom, I'll be back. I'm going up here. I'm going to open up an account. She's like, okay. So she's in the bank opening an account. I don't know what they were talking about in there, but Kayla must have been gone a little bit longer. She's like, I've been calling her for 15 minutes and I can't get her. Come pick me up and take me to the bank so I can make sure she's there, because she's not answering her phone. She always answers her phone. And I'm like, okay, ma, I come get you. And I'm sitting on the porch with my dad at my house. And he's like, oh, you gotta get ready. Don't you gotta get ready to go? So you'll go get your mom. I'm like, Dad, I'm just gonna sit here for a few minutes and finish having my drink, because by the time I get in the car and get on the expressway to get to her house, she's gonna be calling me like, oh, Kayla called me back. And yeah, those times it make you be like, this lady is wild. But when you look back on it in hindsight, and this is a conversation we had, I said, Mom, why are you just like this? And she said, because I prayed for y'all and God gave me y'all, so I need to protect y'all.
And I think now you can understand it a little bit, because, okay, so my nephew, his iPhone right now is a little bit broken and his location services don't work, okay? So my sister cannot track his location.
At all.
At all. She can't see where he is. Now, we all share our locations. I share with my friends. I share with Amanda. I share with my cousin Tommy. We all can see where each other are. We don't stalk each other all the time, but we can see where each other are. And my nephew, he's the only one we can't see. And like for the past couple months, she's been saying, oh, we got to get Xavier a new phone because I need to be able to see him. Where is he at? What is he doing? I'm like, oh, so now tables have turned because it's your child that you need to keep track of. But when it was us, of course, that's how it is. Why you need to know where I'm at?
Well, I told you once I understood, it didn't bother me so much.
Why you need to know where I'm at? Why you need to know everything until you have a kid?
Yeah.
Until you have a kid. But our grandmother used to say that all the time. Until you have kids of your own, you're not going to understand this.
When they're babies, they on your knees. When they're grown, they on your heart.
Yep. She used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good place to end it. We ended on a happy note.
Maybe I'll be a guest again.
You will, because
without all the crying.
The crying is good. The crying is necessary for the healing. Okay.
Yes.
But thank you again for coming on to the podcast. You're welcome. I truly appreciate you supporting my podcasting journey, because you could be like, Kayla, this is crazy. But instead, you're talking through ideas with me. You're asking me when I'm recording and all that stuff. So I appreciate the support.
I'm listening to every episode.
You're listening to every episode. Hopefully you're getting something out of it.
I am.
You're sharing it to everybody. So I appreciate that. You're welcome back anytime. If you have any ideas or anything you want to talk about, come on through.
Okay.
All right. So until next time, take care of yourself. Give yourself grace, and I'll talk to you next week.